I feel like the transition, it's kind of awkward in your first semester because you still have like that clique kind of mindset that comes from high school, that when you know it's annoying, but it also is the idea of like who can I talk to and who is not someone who's a part of like my group that I can talk to. And slowly at university it's really cool when you find out that everyone is just chill and everyone I can talk to and no one's going to be like, why are you talking to me? Like that kind of high school mindset, it was a relief to grow out of, I would say.
G'day and welcome to Choosing Uni. I'm your host Rob Malicki, coming today from Garigal Land in Sydney, and it's a sparkling Sydney day at the start of spring. Blue skies, and I'm at the University of Sydney's open day, and I'm sitting down for a chat with Courtney, who I've just grabbed out of the study abroad tent to have a bit of a yarn about what it's like to study at the Uni of Sydney. But Courtney, firstly, thanks for joining me on the Choosing Uni podcast.
Yeah, of course, no worries. My name's Courtney Jade. I study a Bachelor of Arts and a Bachelor of Advanced Studies in International and Global Studies. I'm currently doing my honours thesis here at the University of Sydney.
Maybe we can start by talking a little bit about adventure, because clearly you've got a bit of a hunger for adventure.
Oh, definitely.
Tell me about your study abroad experience as part of your USyd degree.
Yeah, well, I almost chose my degree because of wanting to study abroad, but I started during COVID, so I wasn't sure whether I would get there until basically the semester beforehand, and started the whole application so I could quickly make sure to get the opportunity. I studied at the National University of Singapore. I chose the university because I was learning Mandarin and I wanted to be able to practice that language, but China was currently still like locked down at the time, and Taiwan didn't have English courses when in the degree I needed. So I did it in the first semester of 2023. I remember rocking up and I got there at New Year's Eve. So I was there for about 4 hours and I saw before the New Year, and it was just incredible seeing the like fireworks going off. I remember walking towards a park trying to find a place to find it, and I saw this huge crowd of people with their phones pointed in the opposite direction. I was like, what are they looking at? Oh, fireworks.
What was the highlight for you of that study abroad experience?
I would say, as someone who always wanted to travel overseas but didn't really get to when I was younger, I felt like my biggest accomplishment was at my 20th birthday. I went to see Angkor Wat in Cambodia for the sunrise, and like that was like the 5th country I'd been to that year. So that was like a big accomplishment for me, and I was like, wow, if I could tell myself when I was younger that I would definitely get here, be able to travel so much so in such a small amount of time, she would be like, hell yeah.
Wow, that is such a spin out of a story.
Right.
So for those people listening to this who may not have thought about having an international study experience as part of their degree at any uni here in Australia, what would you say to them?
I would say it's easier than you think, because I also work with Sydney Abroad here at the University of Sydney, and it was only after doing my exchange that I realised how simple the process was. It really is just involves you being interested in studying abroad, seeing the different programs that is offered at your university, and then talking to someone about the possibility of actually going overseas and applying. And then the team at the university who looks after exchange students really takes it from there and like guides you in the process. So if you're worried about going on exchange but you like think you'd like to but not sure, like may as well give it a go, because the worst thing that's going to happen is nothing happens. And then the best thing that could happen is you would meet the incredible people that you will know for the rest of your life, and you have memories that you'll never forget. This
is so true. I mean, there's that side of things, it's transformative, isn't it? And, there's also incredible research that shows that students who have had international study experiences, so it's an exchange like a long-term exchange, could be a short-term program, a study tour, a couple of weeks overseas, internships, volunteering, like the options are endless.
Yeah.
But those students are more flexible, they're more adaptable, they've got skills that employers actually want. And I think that's such a critical thing when you go looking for a job. Yeah, having the degree is obviously critical.
Yeah, papers needed.
But after that, it's all that extra stuff on a resume that you've got that really cuts through with an employer. And nothing speaks louder volumes, I think, than a learning abroad experience. What else have you done here at uni? Sorry, we'll get to your degree in a second, but let's start on the extracurricular stuff since we're on it. What else are you involved in?
In my first year, I became a student representative for anthropology, one of my majors. I was an executive of one of the International Justice Mission clubs, raising awareness and funds to end modern-day slavery. I work with Sydney Life, Student Life here as a Student Life Ambassador. So I'm like event support for the like orientation weeks and the Vice Chancellor recognition events and all these other things. I remember doing these really fun random thing where I decided I would do this free to play learning how to do volleyball because I wasn't really sporty, but I found out it was so much fun, and had a great group of people that we would like rock up an hour beforehand and then stay like 2 hours after. So we ended up doing 4 hours instead of 1 just because it was so much fun playing with each other. Yeah.
Did you expect to be doing that when you came into uni?
I definitely hoped, but I did not know what to expect. They're just like with exchange, where it's like I hoped to go to many countries, and when I came to uni, I hoped to be able to have those crazy experiences of meeting people and being friends, like fast friends afterwards. But like when you haven't done something, when you're not sure, you just hope is really the only thing you've got going for you, and then also maybe a dedication to yourself to actually seek out those experiences. So that's where I came in with.
Looking back to 16 or 17-year-old Courtney at high school, sort of that uni thing somewhere on the horizon, if you could teleport back in time and whisper in your own ear, what would you whisper?
I was always kind of set on this path, and the degree that I'm doing here was the only degree I actually wanted to do because of how specific it was and that it covered everything I wanted to do. So maybe like I didn't really need the assurance of like this is a good idea, but more of that is just like, like what you're hoping to happen will happen. You'll get there, you'll get that ATAR you need, you'll get into the course. And because I went through HSC and COVID, it's like you will actually get overseas. I think that would be it.
I'd love to hear more about how you knew. You know, because I think one of those things for young people, it's really difficult. Like some people know, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And some people just have absolutely no idea. And it's completely fine to be anywhere on that spectrum. But for you, when was the moment where you're just like, booyah, I got it?
I talked to the career advisor at my university, at my high school, and she was great, but she honestly did something that I could have done. I was telling her I'm interested in global studies, I'm interested in continuing learning Mandarin, I'm interested in stories, and so she kind of searched up like international global studies in a variety of different like wordings and found this university, this degree where I would be like learning a language was a requirement, and where I had an option to learn another major, not just international global studies. And so I was like, that is perfect. I can do all of the things that I'm interested in. And then anthropology is my other major, and that's kind of a little bit of a funny story because I've always been interested in stories, but my mom always thought I was going to do STEM because I was in like 3-unit like extension 1 maths, and I was doing science. I wasn't doing like extension English or anything, but I was always interested in stories and people's stories, real life stories. And so I was searching through the different majors that my degree offered, and it was anthropology started with A, obviously. So I hadn't gotten bored yet of scrolling. And I clicked on it because I had no idea what it was. And then I read it and I was like, oh my God, this is literally what I'm interested in and what I want to learn. And so that's how I found that one.
G'day, it's Rob here. Hey, are you a parent or a carer of a student that's thinking of going to uni in the years ahead? Did you know that Choosing Your Uni has a whole bunch of resources that are just for people like you? And you can find those at parents.choosingyouruni.com. You're going to find things like links to our Facebook community, downloadable worksheets, and heaps of advice by parents for parents. It's all the sort of stuff that you need to help guide your student on their journey to uni and beyond. Check it out now, parents.choosingyouruni.com.
For those people who haven't heard of anthropology, what is it?
I describe it as a more like personable sociology. It is the study of cultures and societies, social processes, how people work and think based on their context and socialization. But it's done not so much through surveys, but like through asking questions and being in the community and like learning about it from personal experience.
It's one of those disciplines I think is just magical.
Definitely.
As a human being, right? Because you're just curious. Like you're always curious as to why is things like this? Like why is this culture in this way? Why do people do this particular thing, this behaviour? Why is society set up like that? It's like this hunger for curiosity. So I think it really suits that kind of curious person,
Yes,
doesn't it?
Definitely. And like when I was traveling overseas to like my first country was Malaysia. I went to on my exchange. I was meeting up with a friend, an international friend who was from Malaysia, and she does anthropology with me. And like she was like, "You're literally doing anthropology now." Like she was so excited that I was able to talk to her about her culture from a mindset coming from someone who had no idea what was going on. It's basically where it starts.
Let's think about the Uni of Sydney itself. What's it like to study here?
My brain went first to study spaces. Like there's so many different study spaces. When I got back on campus after COVID lockdown, I literally decided that I would find a new study space every day I was on campus for the whole semester, and it actually worked.
That is a great idea.
I was like,
wow.
What? Yeah, I was surprised that I could find a new space. But now my friends are like, okay, Courts, where are we going? Because like I will know somewhere else. And I'm like, this is my favorite like library, but I like this learning hub. And people are like, I've never heard of that because it's behind 2 buildings.
That's such a great insight into a fantastic way to make the most out of uni.
Yeah.
It's like this hunger just to explore, because Uni of Sydney is massive.
It is huge.
Isn't it? It's absolutely huge.
Yes.
So to have that kind of hunger to try and seek out all these little secrets.
Yeah,
you probably
like
know
little
this place
plot.
better than most people have been working here, for years. It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Funny but true.
Yeah.
What about in general? Anything that surprised you? That, maybe stories you'd heard that'd be like that didn't turn out to be true, or something you'd just like, oh my God, wow, there's a study space for every day of the year.
Literally. I did come into uni with not really as much of an expectation. I'm not from Sydney originally. I've lived here half my life, but it was kind of just like, this is the university that had the degree I wanted to do. Oddly enough, it was always the uni that my family thought I would go to, not from any expectation point of view, but it was just that. So I didn't really come in with any other idea besides this is the university I'm going to study at. But I guess something that surprised me was maybe like the amount of different, like how dynamic a university can be, I would say. Like we have so many different clubs, we have so many different units, and sometimes our units can change. Sometimes the clubs will come in and come out. There will just be some more popular than the others. The political societies that are very passionate, there's like the different identity societies. There's like so much things you can get involved in that I could, even though I explored for a semester and found a new place every time I was out on campus, like the amount of things you can do on campus, I could probably go my full 4 years and not find out everything. And that's something I think probably was not what I was expecting, since I figured that you would find out all the information, but there's always more that you can find out, it seems.
Is it overwhelming being here? I mean, huge campus, tons of students,
Yeah.
masses of degrees, almost unlimited options in terms of clubs, societies, coffee joints, food places, sporting, whatever. Overwhelming at all?
Definitely when everyone's on campus, it can be. So orientation week or when it's like lunch hour, I avoid the food places at lunch hour just because of the lines make me go, oh my goodness. But it can be overwhelming, but it's just kind of sticking to, especially in the clubs area, sticking to what you're interested in, not letting that overwhelm stop you from getting that experience. Because especially in the first few years, clubs for me was really important to actually meet people on campus and meet people from completely different degrees that there's no other way I would have met them, and just to find that type of like friendship in someone that it's so unlikely. Like there's a special friendship when the people you meet, there was like, you only like is a happenstance chance that you met. So yeah, it's overwhelming, but like you get used to it after a while. You're like, oh yeah, it's just USyd.
On that friendship thing, I know it's one of the big fears that a lot of young people have coming out of high school, where maybe you've gone through with small class, maybe you had 200 people in it, but then suddenly you're dropping into a cohort where there's thousands of people, and it can be a bit overwhelming going into a place where your friends are all going in different directions and suddenly you end up in something where you know nobody. Can you tell me about that transition, what it's been like for you, and maybe any advice for anyone that's worried about that?
That was definitely me. I don't have any close friends who came to USyd with me because like we were all studying very different things. And then I find that in itself is incredible because you get to hear about things from people who are at Macquarie or UTS or UNSW or TAFE or like went into like traineeships and things like that. So it's a good exposure outside. But then when you're in the university, I feel like the transition, it's kind of awkward in your first semester because you still have like that clique kind of mindset that comes from high school that it's annoying, but it also is the idea of like, who can I talk to and who is not someone who's a part of like my group that I can talk to. And slowly at university, it's really cool when you find out that, oh, everyone is just chill and everyone I can talk to and no one's going to be like, why are you talking to me? Like that kind of high school mindset, it was a relief to grow out of, I would say. And it did come with just accepting the awkwardness of that first semester where everyone's like, do I speak in this class or no? And then I'm in my fourth year last semester and now everyone is like so loud and you have to like, the teacher has to be like, wait, this person.
Can we talk about that life around the Uni of Sydney, because one of the things that's a real plus here is you're walking distance from the CBD, but then you've got these incredible places, Newtown, Glebe, Funktown.
Literally.
For a while.
I love
so
Glebe.
Much fun.
The markets.
Incredible, right?
Yeah.
What's it like to sort of live in this part of Sydney?
From where I was living before to now, I feel like it is a lot more lively in this area. Like we were saying, we got Glebe with the Glebe markets that everyone loves to go to on the weekend. You've got Newtown, which is like, even though in the city you have a cool hidden bars, you don't often have like restaurants open after 9, but Newtown you can get the food. Newtown you can get the food, and then like we have Redfern. A lot of times students will get off at Redfern, and if I'm running late for work, I'll catch a 2-minute train at Redfern so I can make sure I'm on time. So like in this area, it's always really exciting and really fun ideas. Like Newtown is known for the place as like when you walk down, you can wear any type of fashion and it'll fit in because everyone is wearing different types of fashion. So you get to explore yourself as well as express yourself in this area. And I feel like that fits into USyd's vibe because there's so many different ideas packed into USyd. It can be seen as one of the political universities in Sydney, but because of that, it's just like a boiling pot for growth and discussion, which I find is really cool and I really enjoy. With it being near the city, like from either side of the campus, you can catch a bus down to Central and maybe over into Bondi area or over into Darling Harbour over the bridge. And so it's definitely quite accessible, which makes it easier for people to get to and around the place when further out from Sydney. But yeah, like I find like when you study on campus, if during the weekend, like you can pop down to have a cafe and get off campus and it's not too difficult to get away and then come back. Whereas in some areas, if it's a bit more residential, it's a bit difficult to like get off campus for a break, which is, I think, definitely a perk here for USyd.
Is that something that people need to do before they start uni, or is that something that you take care of once you actually get enrolled?
I would say the thing that definitely helped me the most with my degree is to get a degree plan down packed really early. Like a lot of problems that can happen if you have your degree plan and you know that this is the units that you need to take when, then that can really help you like navigate those issues. I was lucky enough to have a friend who did my degree earlier to then like emphasize the need for that. So a degree plan is kind of like you're looking at like each semester, each year, and where you're going to fit those unit requirements that you have. Like here at USyd, we have a handbook that says you need to have like maybe 18 credit points of like second year units, like 6 credit points of this core unit, and you can kind of set out what semester you're going to take that what year, and that just means that you're ticking it off and you're able to progress in your degree without like realizing, oh, I have all of these units left to do, I'm supposed to be graduating now but I can't, I have to delay. So like that was definitely something really helpful for me.
Lastly, Courtney, any other tips or tricks or advice that you'd have for anyone studying their degree, either here at USyd or in general? After
you get enrolled and you're able to map out your degree, it's a good time to do it then. If you're probably not before you know what degree you're going to do, it wouldn't really be helpful. And you can start it even if you're already in your degree. I know some people did it in their second year just to make sure that they're actually achieving that, but it's good to get it for the first year. Once you know what degree you're going to do and what uni you're in and enroll in and all that, then you can start looking into your degree plan.
Courtney, so good chatting with you on the Choosing Your Uni podcast. I really appreciate you taking the time out from a very busy, very, very busy.
I appreciate the break. Day. No, thank you so much.
Great to chat.
Thank you.
At Choosing Your Uni, our mission is to make finding your ideal institution and your degree fun, easy and stress-free. So if you're looking to save some time, to discover more and to get personalised advice for every step of your journey, check out choosingyouruni.com. Our theme music is composed by Pasha Shogi and his band Flow, and this episode has been researched and constructed on Garigal land in Sydney. Until next time, have yourself an awesome day.